IVM.
There's a quick survey to fill out on ivmpodcast.com/survey. It lets us know a little bit more about who's listening to us. And you know what? We're going to do a few prizes. So, we'll do a random drawing of maybe 10 people and we'll send you all some swag. Remember, that's ivmpodcast.com/survey where you can fill out the survey.
Fitting in is a dangerous game, and most of us do it by people-pleasing. Now we all know, especially all the people-pleasers, just how difficult this makes life and how bad a habit, how burdensome a habit this can be. But there's an even worse way of fitting in or struggling to fit in, and that's called imitation. Hi, I'm Chetna, your favorite positive action coach, and this is Say No to Drama. A lot of older siblings might have experienced this. The annoying younger sibling who will copy everything that they do, who will want everything that they have, who will want to do everything that they are doing. Usually a younger sibling grows up faster in a way because they keep copying the elder sibling and, they possibly reach their teens 2 years before or 5 years before, depending on the age gap. In general, we humans, we learn in a monkey see, monkey do way. A child learns to crawl and walk. A child learns to talk. A child learns to do so many things by looking at their parents. The younger sibling learns even more by looking at the elder siblings. So many of us learn so many different things in life by looking at our friends. You remember the friend who taught you to tuck your shirt in a different way for the first time. You know, the type where you tuck one side in, one half in and not the other and look like a really cool kid. Monkey see, monkey do. We learn by imitating. We learn by copying. We learn by trying something that somebody else is doing. Now, all of this is great when you're trying to learn. When you are thinking, hey, I like that and I would like to do it as well and I want to improve. Sure, fine, great. But when you start doing it because you think somebody else's life is cooler than yours, somebody else's life looks more fun than yours, somebody else's life is way better than yours, somebody else has got way more game than you, and you start copying them or wanting to do everything that they are doing the way that they are doing, in that moment, you are spelling trouble with capital letters. It's not worth fitting in this manner. And this type of fitting in might happen at an age where you feel like you have lost time. Possibly in your 30s, maybe in your 40s. Sometimes there are even people in their 20s who would do this because they feel like they're not living the cooler life. In fact, they feel their life isn't cool at all. So, if my friend has a boyfriend or if everyone my age is dating, I must also date. Oh, look, everyone my age is getting married. Oh my God, I'm going to be left behind. I must get married. And you know how this story ends, right? Because I know so many of y'all who are listening in are suddenly saying, oh no, that one was me. I got married because all my friends were getting married and then my mom and dad found this guy and I said yes. Or I got married because all my friends were getting married and ready to have a kid. And, my mom and dad said, there's this girl. And I said, yes. And then I jumped right in and had a child too. And oh my God, look how much life has changed. I feel like I didn't have any time to live my 20s and 30s at all. As you grow older, you need to be accepted in a circle for who you are and what you bring to the table and for what you aspire to achieve in your life or for the life that you are choosing to live, the one that you are dreaming of. We're all looking at Instagram, scrolling through it and saying that one's life is better than mine. Oh, look, that person's a food blogger. That's what I will be. Let me quit my job and become a food blogger and I'll make lots of money and forget the money. I'll be cool and I'll be famous. Maybe you will be, but it still doesn't mean that you will fit in. It still doesn't mean that blogger that you saw and their friends and that cool group of influencers will want to hang with you. There's no guarantee, but look, you're willing to get up and take a chance for this. Imagine what happens if you're willing to get up and take a chance for something that you really, really desire and want, something that is aligned to you. When you feel a void in your life, don't try to fill it by being somebody else. Just because you see someone in your group who naturally is the center of attention. Everyone listens to this one person. When this person says they want to do something, everybody just shows up. All plans are made around this person's life. Every group has this one person. Okay, it's there. This person exists. I get it. Considering I have multiple groups of friends, in some groups I have friends who are this, and in some groups I am this. So I get it. But if you are going to do everything that this person does because you want that attention, you might end up being an obnoxious version of yourself. Yes, you might end up being a version that people don't like. You might end up rubbing people off the wrong way. You might end up being rude. You might end up feeling that despite doing whatever that person is doing, I'm still not getting what they get. Be careful how much of other people you are embodying. Be your own person requires you to know your likes, your dislikes, your preferences, what doesn't work for you, what makes you uncomfortable, what makes you happy. It also requires you to know what kind of a person do you want to be known as. And please, for heaven's sake, do not reply to this question with, I want to be known as a nice person. I want to be known as a reliable person. I want to be known as a person that is trustworthy. Think beyond. Think deeper. What kind of a person do you want to be? You being a reliable, trustworthy, nice person is the obvious. That's the normal. You know, it's like in the dating space, the guy buys you a flower or the guy opens the door for you or the guy pays a bill and you say, oh my God, look, he did that. He's a great guy. Certain things are just normal. A girl behaves nicely to, your friends and your parents and you say, oh my God, she was so sweet to my friends and my family. She's definitely a nice girl. This is normal behavior. People who come from decent families with great upbringings will behave nicely and cordially with other people. This is a given and this is the base level in any relationship. So the same way that we have suddenly taken something that was so normal and made it like this great thing, please stop making being nice, being reliable, being trustworthy as something great. It's normal. A good human being should be nice, should be trustworthy, should be reliable. That is what we all should strive for in general. But in your loved ones' lives, who do you want to be known as? What kind of a person? I want to be known as the person who is easygoing and who is always up for a plan. And in most cases, that is exactly who I am. I'm also known as the person who, when she says no, nobody tries to convince me because my no is so convincing. There are many different versions of me that I want to be known as with my loved ones. You need to think about that so that you can be your own person. In trying to fit into a circle, in trying to be accepted. And let me tell you this, fitting in actually is not as much about acceptance as much as it is about being looked up at, being respected, and being considered as this awesome person. Fitting in for most of us is about climbing up onto a pedestal. So you don't just want everyone in your life to say, hey, you are one of us. You want people in your life hold you and say, hey, you're not just one of us, but you're the best among us. Means you're just awesome at this. This is not fitting in. Fitting in is just acceptance. Fitting in is just space for you to be you without being questioned. And people enjoying being around you and having you in their life. That's where fitting in begins and ends. But for a lot of us, fitting in is equal to being considered cool, being considered as the best, being considered as the person that everyone should listen to, being considered that person that everyone can rely on no matter what. And in all of this, because you don't know yourself and because you've made zero effort to get to know yourself and create space for your own self in your life, you start copying other people and you start trying to be somebody else. And nobody can be somebody else. I cannot do something that you do exactly the same way. Sure, I may know how to type a letter the same way as you can type a letter, but our words will be different, our tone will be different, our sense of humor will be different. The way we use full stops, commas, and exclamation marks will be different. It's as simple as that. And if I try to write a letter the way you write it, I will in all probability mess it up and come across as somebody who is not authentic. So in trying to live a cooler life, don't lose yourself. If you would like to listen to more episodes and try out more hacks on how you can understand yourself and be your own person, you need to scroll down on the whole Say No to Drama podcast list. There, all the episodes are available on the IVM Podcast app and website. And if you would like to book a session with me to help find yourself, discover yourself, understand yourself, DM me on Instagram. My handle is PositivityEam.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Advertising is Dead, Piyush Gupta, president of Keystone, talks to Varun about how his experimental marketing agency is helping brands get on the metaverse. On Voices for Water, Karthik is joined by Dr. Anju Gaur, senior water resource management specialist. Together, they navigate the landscape of Indian water data. On Pulyabazi, Pranay and Saurabh dig into why exactly the taxes on petrol are so high. On Ek Chuski Finance, Priyanka tells us how we can avoid taking a financial risk. And on Marathi Kirkitun, the Deshmukhs explore the beauty of the Devanagari font on the occasion of Akshaya Tritiya. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're following this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Word of mouth is one of our biggest, most helpful things you can do for us. We'd really appreciate that. And also, don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms you're listening on. And you can also check us out on YouTube. Go check out ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. You get a list of all of our YouTube channels there. We're also doing a small listener survey to better understand how you respond to our shows and the advertising on the network. We would really appreciate it if you could spare a few minutes to fill it out. It's at ivmpodcast.com/survey. This really helps us build better shows for you. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors for this week, SBI Life Insurance, India Water Portal, and Jupiter, a digital banking app.
Ladies, I'm sure you will relate to it if I say that we are constantly busy with work, studies, cooking, and what not. And amidst all of this, we often forget an important element that needs our desperate attention: finance. So here we are, bringing to you SBI Life Presents A Sip of Finance, a women-exclusive podcast where we will teach you how to manage personal finances in a simple and straightforward way with your host, Priyanka Acharya, a finance expert who's been in the industry for 14 plus years. And not just in English, but in 7 more languages. So tune in every Tuesday for fresh episodes on the IVM Podcast Network and all major podcast streaming platforms.